Have you ever woken up from a dream and felt a sense of profound strangeness? A dream so vivid, so detailed, that it lingered with you long after the morning light filled your room. Maybe you were soaring through a sky of purple clouds, or walking through a city made of crystalline structures that just, well, defied all known laws of physics. These experiences are a fundamental part of being human. We spend nearly a third of our lives asleep, and in that time, our minds construct entire worlds. These nocturnal narratives are often dismissed as mere neurological noise, the random firings of synapses as our brains sort through the day's memories and emotions. But what if there's something more? What if these fleeting images are not just echoes of our own lives, but whispers from somewhere else entirely? So let us ask the question directly, with all the curiosity we can muster. What if dreams are not random firings of neurons, but deliberate, structured communications from extraterrestrial civilizations? This is a thought that teeters on the edge of science fiction. Yet it taps into two of our deepest human inquiries: the nature of consciousness and the possibility of life beyond Earth. The bizarre symbols, the alien landscapes, the nonsensical plots. Could these be the distorted fragments of a message that has traveled for light years to reach us? A message that our brains are struggling to decode, translating it into the only language they know, the language of dream imagery, emotion, and fragmented narrative. This proposition invites us to see our own minds as potential receivers in a galactic communication network. It's a staggering thought. To explore this idea, we must first look at what our own science says about dreams. We know that most vivid dreaming occurs during a specific phase of sleep known as REM, or rapid eye movement. During REM sleep, our brain activity looks remarkably similar to when we are awake. The regions responsible for emotion, sensory processing, and memory, the amygdala, the hippocampus, the visual cortex, all light up with activity. However, the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain associated with logic, rational thought, and self-control, is significantly less active. This combination helps explain the character of dreams. They are emotionally charged and visually rich, but often lack a coherent logical structure. Neuroscience offers a compelling model for how dreams are generated from within. The activation synthesis hypothesis, for example, suggests that dreams are simply our brain's attempt to make sense of random neural signals originating in the brainstem during REM sleep. But even within neuroscience, the full purpose of dreaming remains an open question. The simple fact is we do not have a single unified theory of why we dream. Consciousness itself is perhaps the greatest mystery in all of science, and dreaming is one of its most enigmatic expressions. It is in this gap, this space of scientific uncertainty, that we can find room for speculation. What if the random neural signals are not so random after all? What if they are not generated internally from the brainstem, but are instead the result of a subtle, external influence? Our galaxy, the Milky Way, is vast beyond comprehension. It contains hundreds of billions of stars, and there are hundreds of billions of other galaxies in the observable universe. In recent years, our telescopes have confirmed that planets are not the exception, but the rule. Given these staggering numbers, the statistical probability that Earth is the only planet to harbor life seems vanishingly small. This is the foundation of the Fermi paradox. If the universe is teeming with life, and likely intelligent life, then where is everybody? This profound question has been called the Great Silence. Communication evolves. We went from smoke signals to telegraphs, from radio to the internet, in the blink of a cosmic eye. A truly advanced intelligence might have mastered forms of communication that are completely beyond our current technological understanding. They might have discovered a way to interact with the fundamental fabric of space-time, or perhaps to interface directly with the biological phenomenon of consciousness itself. Sleep is a biological universal on our planet. Perhaps it is a universal constant for complex life everywhere. Tapping into the dream state could be the most elegant and universal communication method imaginable, a cosmic dial tone accessible to any mind that slumbers. Let us imagine for a moment how this might work. We can call it the dream mail hypothesis. An advanced civilization, a collective of beings perhaps, has mastered the art of consciousness-based communication. They've identified the specific quantum frequencies or neurological states that correspond to the dreaming mind. They would understand that to send a complex message, Say a blueprint for a clean energy source or a mathematical proof describing the nature of dark matter would just be too much. A primitive brain like ours would be overwhelmed. So they would have to be patient. They would send simple things first, not words or equations, but fundamental concepts. The feeling of unity, the color of a world orbiting a different kind of star, the geometry of a life form based on silicon instead of carbon. These concepts would arrive in our minds as raw data. Our brains, during REM sleep, would do what they do best. They would synthesize. They'd take this alien input and weave it into a narrative using our own personal memories and symbols. The alien concept of unity might become a dream of holding hands with everyone you've ever known. The image of a silicon-based creature might become a dream of a walking, crystalline statue. The same initial signal sent to two different people would result in two wildly different dreams. My dream of a purple sky might be your dream of eating a strange purple fruit. The content is different, but the core element, the color purple, a color perhaps significant to the sending civilization, is preserved. This would be a brilliant way to introduce a species to new ideas slowly, gently, without causing cultural shock or panic. It would be a gradual acclimatization, a cosmic education program that unfolds over generations, one dream at a time. If this theory holds any truth, then humanity might be sitting on the largest, most profound dataset in its history, the collected dreams of every person who has ever lived. The challenge would be immense. How could we possibly begin to decipher such a code? It would require a whole new field of science, a kind of oneiroarchaeology or dream archaeology. Researchers would need to collect millions, perhaps billions of dream reports from people all over the world. They would use powerful AI and pattern recognition algorithms to search for commonalities that transcend culture, language, and individual experience. The first step would be to filter out the noise. Many dreams are undoubtedly just what neuroscience suggests, our brains processing our own lives. A dream about being unprepared for an exam is likely just that, anxiety about being unprepared. But what about the truly strange dreams, the ones that seem to come from nowhere? The recurring dreams that people across different cultures report, like flying, or losing teeth, or being chased. Psychologists interpret these as universal human archetypes, but in this new context, could they be the most basic fundamental signals from the cosmic broadcast, the hello world of an interstellar message? Scientists could look for specific, unusual elements that appear in the dreams of many unrelated people. Imagine if over the course of a single week, thousands of people around the globe reported dreaming of a specific, non-terrestrial geometric shape, like a seven-dimensional cube. Or if a unique melody, one that doesn't conform to any known musical scale, started appearing in people's dreams. These would be potential signals. These would be the clues that we are not just talking to ourselves in our sleep. It would be the first hint of a shared external influence on our collective unconscious. The implications of even a preliminary success would be world-changing. The patterns we find might not be messages in a language we can understand at first. They might be more like mathematical constants or physical principles. Perhaps the recurring geometric shapes are blueprints for a new kind of technology. Perhaps the strange melodies are a representation of a fundamental law of physics we have yet to discover. Imagine the day it is confirmed. The day a team of scientists announces that they have found a clear, undeniable, non-human pattern in the collective dream data of humanity. That moment would change everything. It would be a turning point for our species, a fundamental shift in our understanding of who we are. The knowledge that we have been in contact, however passive and unconscious, with an extraterrestrial intelligence for our entire history, would reshape our philosophy, our religion, our art, and our science. It would be the ultimate answer to the question, are we alone? And the answer would be, you never were. This discovery would have a profound unifying effect on humanity. Suddenly, the national, cultural, and religious divisions that have defined so much of our history would seem petty and insignificant. We would all be earthlings, the recipients of a cosmic message. We would share a common purpose, to understand what our celestial neighbors are trying to tell us. The differences between us would pale in comparison to the difference between humanity and the other that has been communicating with us. Of course, there would also be fear and existential dread. Who are these beings? What are their intentions? Are they benevolent teachers, or are they something else? The content of the dreams would be scrutinized with an intensity never before seen. Every nightmare, every dark vision would be analyzed for signs of malevolence. Religions would be thrown into crisis, forced to reconcile their doctrines with the reality of an alien intelligence that has been whispering to humanity for millennia. We would be forced to see ourselves not as the pinnacle of creation, but as students in a cosmic school. This new story would be humbling, but also empowering. It would mean that the universe is not a cold, empty, meaningless place. It is a place of communication, of connection, of intelligence. It would suggest that consciousness is a valued and fundamental aspect of the cosmos. Our own lives, our own minds, would be seen in a new light. They are not just isolated sparks of awareness, but nodes in a galaxy-spanning network. The dreams we have each night are not just personal trifles. They are our contribution to, and our reception of, the greatest conversation ever held. We do not know if this theory is true. At this moment, it remains a piece of speculative wonder. It is a thought experiment, a work of imagination grounded in scientific possibility. But its value does not depend on it being proven correct tomorrow. Its true power lies in its ability to change our perspective, to shake us from our assumptions, and to fill us with a sense of awe. It asks us to look at something as common as a dream and see in it a reflection of the entire cosmos. It is a reminder that the greatest mysteries might not be hidden in distant galaxies, but within our own minds. Whether our dreams are messages from aliens or messages from ourselves, they are worthy of our curiosity and respect. They are a fundamental part of our consciousness, a nightly journey into a world without the rigid rules of waking reality. This theory encourages us to approach that world with a new sense of adventure. It invites us to become explorers of our own inner landscapes, searching for patterns and meaning. It gives us a reason to wonder about the strange images and feelings that visit us in the night, and to see them not as random noise, but as pieces of a profound and beautiful puzzle. This idea changes how we see ourselves and our place in the universe. It suggests that we may be part of a story that is far grander, older, and stranger than we have ever imagined. It paints a picture of a cosmos that is not silent and empty, but alive with communication, connection, and consciousness. It proposes that we are not isolated beings on a lonely planet, but are deeply and intrinsically connected to the whole. Our minds, the very things we use to comprehend the universe, might also be the instruments through which the universe comprehends and communicates with us. So tonight, when you lay your head down to sleep, think about this. As you drift into the darkness, consider that you might be opening a channel to the stars. The strange worlds you visit, the impossible things you see, the profound feelings you experience, perhaps they are not just figments of your imagination. Perhaps you are receiving a postcard from another world, a greeting from a distant star-faring civilization. Perhaps you are part of a conversation that has been going on for eons, and perhaps just by dreaming, you are playing your part in the great unfolding story of the cosmos. The universe is full of wonders, and the greatest one might be waiting for you when you close your eyes.